Hello, this is Brian Kramer with the Business Innovation Team. Today I'm going to put together a very short video for you on why work with the Business Innovation Team. Quick background about myself. I started doing this type of work in the mid-90s with IBM, developing and launching products around the globe, as well as running business transformation projects around the globe. Different cultures, different languages, different business objectives, but it became a lot of fun. And when I left IBM, over time, the small business community here in Atlanta learned about what I do. Can you help us? Can you help us? Can you help us? And it's just been a lot of fun ever since. So I'm just trying to boil down some of the things I do. There's a lot more tools that I'm going to show you today, but this will give you a good idea of the work that I do to help my clients. So turning your ideas into reality. And that was really my passion. I started learning over time that when you follow these steps, the ideas actually work. I read a book years ago called It's Not Luck. And the premise of that book was if you use proven tools and methodologies, they always work. The art of it is with managing change. And that's where a lot of the work I do comes in. So who wants to work with me? Do you have ideas that you want to implement and want help getting done? Yeah, you're busy. And maybe your staff is busy. And maybe your staff doesn't have the experience crafting a project like these or these initiatives and then communicating and rolling them out well. Are you having persistent quality problems impacting repeat sales or time to complete a project? Are you late, consistently late, keeping your commitments? How do we avoid that? You want to improve the efficiency of your business, but need team buy-in to get it done. It's one thing to say, we got to get better, got to get better, got to get better, but how? There's a fine art to doing that. It takes the, what was that phrase they would say? Work smarter, not harder. Well, that's what I help people do. I show them how to work smarter, not harder, as they're trying to change their business. Not sure how to define and implement needed change while keeping your business running. Businesses are rolling. You got to keep going. You got to keep making your current commitments while implementing these changes. How to scale your business using the same or fewer resources. This is one of the things that really got me turned on to the tools that I use and how I help companies, because the whole team, they see the business improving, they see revenues and profits growing, and they also see their lives getting easier. So they have a real feeling of success. They've accomplished something in their life. So to simplify it, 3 main focus items. What needs to change? What does it need to change to? And how do you get there? Pretty simple, right? So what needs to change? Where do you want to be in 5 years? What new services do you want to add? What's keeping you from growing your business? Just some examples. What does it need to change to? I need to be able to sell my company in time. Okay, so what are those metrics we need to have in place, and how do you get there? Significant new revenues are coming from a new product line, maybe, because maybe you see them writing on the wall for a current product line and say we need to reinvent, get something out there. We need to pivot, as they say today, so we can be relevant in the market. Improve client satisfaction, higher sales conversion rates. How do you get there? What are the top 1 or 2 things that we need to focus on first and make sure we crush? Make sure we get really, really good, so that's no longer a constraint in our system. What team members need to be on board and help develop the transition? And not just your employees, what stakeholders, what vendors, what contractors, what clients need to be part of this discussion? And how do you bring in their input and help develop the idea so your idea is even stronger when it gets to the market? What change management considerations exist for your employees and customers? And do you have a plan in place to get you there? Bottom line, when you work with us and use our tools and methods, the odds of your initiative being successful is much higher. That's what we do. So let's move on to say, how do we do it? Strategy, definition, and buy-in. So on that point, it's worth to stop sharing so you can see my smiling face. I'm a huge advocate of that strategy work. You wouldn't begin to build a home if you didn't have the home laid out on paper. If you did, oh, it's a 2-story house. I thought we were talking about a ranch. Okay, so it's a 2-story house. Wait a minute, you want 5 windows on the top floor? I thought it was only gonna be 4. Okay, well, how do we rearrange these things? A metaphor I like to say is, you put your team on a plane, you say, we're going to California. When they see that you landed in Sacramento, they're disappointed because somehow along the line, they thought they're going to San Diego. So is everybody looking at the same blueprint? Is everybody looking at the same property, with the same landscaping? Is everybody looking at the same interior and the colors and things of this nature? The degree to which you get collaboration and build a strategy that well, you can dramatically increase the likelihood that it's going to be successful. Here we go. High-level financial plan creation. When you first see the financial plan I bring to the table, you're going to look at me cross-eyed and say, this is really simple, Brian. Come on. And it's that way on purpose. Just revenue, expenses, overhead, gross profit. How much money you're starting with, how long would that last given the expenses that we're looking at. And then upon the first iteration, I like to see at least a 30 to 50% GP in the plan. If it's a lot lower than that, we go back and say, let's revisit this. What are things, and regardless, you're always revisiting. When do you expect to be making revenues, changes in revenues? When do you expect costs to go down, perhaps? When are we going to start adding costs, and what's that going to do for the available cash for the project? And you'll see that we continue to add and refine it, so it becomes a much more sophisticated model based on your particular requirements. And it's pretty quick and easy, but it helps us all get on the same page about financial expectations and timelines. Then begin defining everything needed to execute your strategy: people, processes, and systems. Again, I have fun. People will laugh when they're working with me. And that step I just talked about is a critical point. It's very important because I challenge the group constantly to say, well, have we thought about everything, from the people perspective that needs to be in place? What about policies, measures, and behaviors that are going to keep us from getting the progress that we want? But through the process of me challenging people, then periodically cutting up, they relax, they get engaged, they get mental breaks, because this is also challenging work. So they get mental breaks, but they just keep moving along, and we keep the pace moving so the project gets done. But we are trying to be very methodical and not leave anything unthought about. So that's why we begin defining everything needed to execute your strategy. Then I build the project plan to validate timelines and resources needed. And this can be a very challenging part of the exercise, where the sponsor for this idea, for the initiative, the business owner, looks at this as, oh, yeah, I was thinking I could have all this done in 6 months, but the way it's laid out right now, given how many resources we have, the money we have, some of the additional work that needs to get done that we didn't ponder, that's looking more like 8 months, maybe 9. Okay, so what adjustments do we need to make in the finances? What adjustments do we have to make in the scope of work for the project? So it's realistic, and people feel like, yeah, we can get this done, because that's a key thing. People have to feel like they can get it done while simultaneously doing all the other work that they need to get done. That'll drive up the momentum, and it helps them to become more interested in the desired end result. So they're not clinging to the current status quo. They say, I really want that future. That's what we want for the team, and that's what we want them to see. So by doing that, it becomes more realistic, and people buy in. All right. So then we get down to execution. Do we need processes built? How's the work going to get done? How are we going to measure success? How are we tracking defects? Are we going to even track defects? But also, by laying out how we're going to get work done, that helps you as the business owner work with the marketing person to say, here are the expectations we can set for our clients. So important. Properly setting expectations for the clients and for the team. That way you can deliver consistently on time, meet your terms and conditions, keep clients sat up. So that's a lot of things that we look for in execution. It's not just getting the things done, but knowing how we're going to get it done when it comes time to execute, and knowing how we can set expectations. Then refine the strategy, financial and project plans based on lessons learned. We never know all the answers when we start out, but what's important is we have this iterative process to easily go back and modify things. Maybe it's not as simple as we'll extend the project. Maybe it's okay, we have to change the scope again because we really want to have something out there right now. So maybe release 1. Because oftentimes when I'm working with my clients, we'll say, let's keep all these ideas and release 1. These other ideas are coming out, that'll be release 2, then release 3, based on business results we achieve. So that's what we work on, and people see it and they like it. So in summary, you and your team will have fun during this process. You'll see the pieces come together very quickly. I'm really good at facilitating these things, and I'm really good at asking questions of the team and helping them think through this in ways that they hadn't really thought about it before. It's a highly collaborative process with you and your team. As we build this together and make modifications based on team input, buy-in continues to grow. Their voices are being heard and respected. And you'll see when you work with me, how I make sure that happens. And then we work within your time and financial budgets. You only have so much time that you and your team can put on this per week. We define that. I come up with a cadence of meetings. We meet for maybe 2-3 hours max because people get burned out. If we focus too long, too hard on it, they have homework, and we just keep moving the ball down the road based on your schedule, based on your budget of time and money. Again, bottom line, the odds of your initiative being successful is much higher working with me through those steps. So if you want more information, feel free to go to my website at BUSINNOV team. That's Business Innovation Team. You can contact me through that. You can see other resources that I have available. And let's talk. Let's see if it's a good fit. And let's see if we can have some fun together. I hope to hear from you.